Is the Wave Weight 10 Low worth the $199 retail price? That's pretty steep, but man, are these nice. Roll it. Welcome back to our channel. I hope you guys liked that intro. That was a ton of shots to make that work. But today we are going to be looking at the performance aspects for the Wave Weight 10 Low, just different stuff like the cushion, traction, support, and some more. But I'll go ahead and cover some of the basic info first. So the original Wave Weight 10s retailed for $225, and I actually didn't even get to play in those. I was just a little bit late to the release and didn't want to spend all that money since I missed when they originally came out. But they did recently drop the low variation, and I did scoop those up for a little bit cheaper. So the lows are going to be retailing for $200, technically $199, but that does make them fall, still on the more expensive side of the scale whenever you're talking about just like basketball shoes in general. And that's sometimes bad for the wallet. Well, I guess it's always bad for the wallet, but that doesn't mean that that does mean you're going to be set up for at least a better performance feel, or at a minimum, you should likely be set up for or see some more quality pieces. And the Wave Weight 10 Low definitely checks that box. And it feels like I say this for every single shoe from them, but the details are everywhere on this model, even for the appearance. I do actually want to point this out now. They remind me a lot of the Jordan 36 Low, and not based off of how they play, because we haven't even gotten to that part yet, but the Jordan 36 Low was barely lower than the originals, and the weight kind of backed that up too. There really wasn't much of a difference. And that's kind of how I feel about looking at these shoes, especially from the photos. If you go to Wave Weight's site and you look at them side by side, it's almost hard to tell which is the low and which is the original. Don't read the title though, that's cheating. But now to get back on track, I just thought that was interesting, because back to the shoes, it is pretty easy to tell that this is going to be, the Valentine's themed colorway for the Wave Weight 10 Low. And they do remind you of that in a few different spots. There's a little Cupid arrow on the upper that's going to be just above that Wave Weight text. And that cursive font is so pretty too. My gosh. But the logo that they worked into the tongue or onto the midsole, I think that's pretty clean too. It reminds me a lot of this Ice Blood V2 model. They kind of, stuck the logo back there too. But from the front, you are going to get more of a simple design, but you do have a cool pattern on the tongue. And then only on this left shoe on the inner side of the upper is going to be a patch that says "Do It With Love." And I think that lightning bolt is really sick too. Then on the heel, the details just keep going. And I debated on doing this because Chase is always on me about the watch retention, but I'm just going to tell you what it says. So how to make your own way? Be confident, be bold, believe in yourself, be yourself, don't be afraid to evolve. Be strong, do more, do it with love. Sort of a callback there. Do it with passion, do it with care. And man, if you aren't feeling better after that, I don't know what to tell you. But that finally wraps up this portion of the review. Now let's see how the Wave Weight 10 Low holds up on the court. So now we'll get more into the performance side, and the first thing I'll touch on is the cushioning. So it is pretty common for shoes that to get the same exact cushioning setup whenever you're going from the original to a low variation, and that's going to be no different here. So the Wave Weight 10 and the 10 Lows are going to be using some boom and a full-length carbon fiber plate to help energize you step by step. And that boom technology is going to be specific to Wave Weight. That's just this P-back spaced foam that is going to be, it's supposed to be similar to feel and boost, but just not quite as soft. And sometimes models feel a little bit stiffer at first, but they're meant to loosen up. So I am somewhere between 4 or 5, maybe even 6 models that I've played in from Wave Weight now. And generally I do like to keep my comparisons kind of in that ballpark, but I think this does break the barrier for the softest shoe that I've played in from them yet. Now keep in mind, $200. Just keep that in mind. But no stones to throw here. I really do feel this model gives you a good feel on the court. And I love the picture that they give you. This is a really good diagram here of how it's positioned. So obviously not everything is going to be meant to help with comfort, but you can see where the boom and that full-length carbon fiber kind of fall into place. And I love carbon fiber. It's such a cool design and look. And it's something that holds true on this model and pretty much across every shoe that I've played in from Wave Weight again, is the heel is super padded. And the surrounding parts of the shoe are going to be more plush than some other models, the Shadow for the Ice Blood V2, stuff like that. But using our durometer to check out the midsole, these were reading at a 47.5, and that is a little bit higher than usual. But personally, I think the boom definition kind of lines up perfect for this shoe. Like, the more you play in the Wave Weight 10 low, the better they feel so far. So now getting into more of the materials and the support, I feel like I've talked about so many details already, but I still haven't hit on most of them. And that is pretty common. I mean, Wave Weight is known for having just nicer quality or just like details on their model, and they don't short you again here. So there are a few different like materials at play, but the bulk of the upper is going to be made out of this breathable mesh in this like fabric stitch style that allows for great airflow. And then along with this just being a low top model, Wave Weight actually claims this is the lightest shoe in the Wave Weight series so far. The size 10.5 weighing 394 grams, and that is super light. But if you've been following me, if you've just been like watching this review from the beginning and you didn't skip to the materials section for some reason, you'll know that I haven't played in like the other shoes from his line so far. I didn't even play in the original 10s, so I'm not sure if that's true, but I know it is close because the Ice Blood V2 is like right there at 398 grams if we're going outside of Wave Weight, just specifically. But as always, I am a fan of like lighter models, as long as they aren't too thin and have some like nice support features, and these have plenty of that there. So I'll kind of bring you back to this picture that helps lay out the support setup as well as I could possibly explain it. So the main things to look at here would be like the TPU stabilizer. And then it also has that ankle support piece on top of that. You're gonna have a torsion shank, toe cap. All right, now I might be getting into like more of the model construction, but I mean, all you really need to know is the support and like the construction is super great. Like it's really gonna be a non-factor because you don't get any type of heel slippage, no movement to the upper. So that's gonna be right on brand. Honestly, I haven't struggled with support on any of the other shoes that I've played in from Wave Weight. So I mean, it's gonna be top tier for the Wave Weight 10 low on both of these categories, and that's what you want. So wrapping it up with the traction, I'll go ahead and give you a shot at the pattern first. These are using a rubber outsole with this water ripple pattern, pretty similar to the 808 Ultra, but the traction has been like one of the stronger pieces on Wave Weight models, just kind of in general. One thing that does seem to like almost always be there is the squeak. And doing our squeak test on these, I can't lie, this might be the loudest shoe that I've ever played in. Like, they squeak on every single movement. I was in a gym shooting it like by myself at 5 a.m. and it sounded like people were in there running fives. And that's like never a bad thing, but that doesn't always mean it's going to be good for like traction, but these are going to be great to a degree. So as far as the ability goes to bite the floor, it is there. You can start, stop, cut, all of that on a dime pretty much. But if it's been like, I'll say this has been the most significant dust collector from the group so far for me. Like, on all of my movements, if it had been a while since I had wiped the shoe, I might do some like sliding or some slipping and stuff like that. Sometimes that does come with the territory of just having like a squeakier model, but aside from that, honestly, those issues, it's mostly minor. The traction is still solid, but it's not going to be the deepest grooves, and these things are $200, so I'm not framing these as an outdoor model, but feel free to do that. But finishing off with the sizing, I did go true to size, and that was a perfect true to size fit for me. Like, slightly narrow, but not by much. The length is going to be perfect. You get about a thumb's width left over, but overall, man, I'm just glad I finally was able to check these bad boys out. Like, the details, I feel like they go crazy, and the appearance is just going to be up there with my favorite shoes on the market right now. Really clean looking bottom. So on the contrary, I mean, this is like, traction was like almost my biggest concern, if you want to call it that, but more so it was just about the dust. But the support's going to be killer. The cushion feels great, and I love me some light shoes. So is the Wave Weight 10 low worth the $199 retail price? I sure think so. Thank you guys for taking some time to watch. Feel free to throw us a follow or a sub if you like this video. And if you're interested in buying these shoes and you want to support our channel, just click the link here on screen, or we have links down below or in our bio. Feel free to check that out. But until next review, I'm Landon from Shoewear. Peace.